All right, good evening. Kim Baker here with Victim Survivor Conqueror Ministry, coming to you here on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, Twitch TV. Before we get started tonight, this will be the last night of the childhood sexual abuse. If you have missed the other weeks, you can go back to Facebook Live and 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 watch the ones that you have missed. Oh, let me turn my phone off. Sorry about that. I forget about that every time. But anyway, thank you for joining in. Hey there, I see a good friend of mine from Harrisburg, Arkansas is there. Thank you, Donna, for tuning in. If down at the bottom left hand corner of your screen, you're going to see where it says vscministry.com. That is our website. Go to our website and you can download this material. You can download any of the material that we use for any of our 9 classes. Okay. Also, hit one of the buttons on Facebook. Silly old Facebook. The more people that hit buttons or comments is the more people that they allow to see us. Okay, so you can help us out there. Also, leave us a comment. We'd love to hear from you. What you think about the new format, the new 30-minute format. Like it, don't like it. Whatever comment you'd like to leave, we'd love to hear from you. Okay. There will be, I will have a couple announcements at the end tonight. And like I said, this should be the last night of childhood sexual abuse. Okay. So we're going to wind up talking about what to do if we suspect child abuse is taking place. Okay. But I kind of went into this just a little bit last week. We're going to start out looking at what is the profile of a perpetrator. Okay, who are the perpetrators? Okay, and that's kind of what we're going to be looking at. Also, you can tune in to Zoom if you'd like to tune in to Zoom. Also, we're over there, and we'll get started with tonight. And we're going to be looking again. We're going to be looking at profile of perpetrator. Okay. Perpetrators, they feel like victims that are in desperate need to control someone. Okay. And what we have to understand is that a lot of the abuse that we've gone through in our life, a lot of it has to do with our perpetrators needed to feel like they were in control. And that is one of the main reasons why people do violate others. It is to have control of the situation or of their life. Okay. They see their sexual actions as a solution to their problems. Okay. And, we may be thinking, well, what kind of problems do they have? But, they do have problems, no doubt. But they use children to bluster their sense of significance. And, 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 and that is a major issue that that I think that we talk about quite a bit here in VSC is the 3 God-given needs in our life, and that is the need for love, the need for significance, and the need for security. And when one of those three or all three of them are broken, that's when you see people that are broken the most themselves. Okay? All right. So perpetrators, they use sex to feel love. Okay? They have difficulty forming healthy adult relationships. They rationalize and justify. Now, some of the comments that we're fixing to get into, probably going to make you angry. Okay? There's some of them that still make me angry every time, and I've been doing this for 9 years. But yeah, some of the comments, it'll get to you. Okay. One is, and these comments have been told to like CPS workers and stuff like that, Child Protective Services, and they hear these things. Okay, these things are told. People believe these when they tell them. My wife is cold and indifferent. It's her fault. Well, I feel it's my duty to provide sex education for her. I view sex as loving and gentle. Yes, under the covenant relationship that God created between man and wife, absolutely. Outside of that, no. It is better for me to prepare her than someone else. It's only play, it's not intercourse. I can't control my impulses. And I'm telling you, if you're, um, I'm telling you, this will get you upset listening to some of this stuff. But we have to be able to understand where people are coming from. I need something to relieve my stress. Okay, go drink a beer, go run around the block. Um, Here's one that just gets me is she is seducing me. Okay. And so these are some of the excuses that perpetrators tell from time to time. Okay. All right. Next, we're going to be looking at the characteristics of a victim. Okay. What Where does victims fall in as far as characteristics? And what we're going to be doing, we're going to be looking at the word victims in reference to these characteristics. Okay. First is the V. Usually the victim is vulnerable. Okay. They're open to attack. They're susceptible to injury. They appear or defenseless or helpless. Okay. Next will be the I. They are insecure. They tend to be anxious, timid, lacking confidence, self-doubting, or apprehensive. C. Complaint. Compliant. They're obedient. They're submissive. They're accommodating. They're yielding. T. Trusting. They're gullible. They're naive. They're susceptible. I, intimidated. They're frightened. They're scared. They're unsettled, nervous, or worried. M, manipulated. They're easily influenced. They're controlled. They can be used or they can be persuaded. Okay, next will be the S. The S. Suppressed, contained, concealed. They can be held back, they can be stressed, or they can be bottled up. Okay? And that's some of the characteristics. Okay? So, again, I just try to bring out for us to be aware, especially if we are, if you're a parent or grandparent, especially, to be aware of these characteristics, and if you have a child that seems to be able to be manipulated, to be influenced, controlled, then you might want to watch them a little more carefully than you would somebody that is more, you know, outgoing, very vocal. Okay, and again, I don't want us to be where we're looking under or behind everything, looking for something bad or a bad person or the boogeyman. But also on the other hand, I feel like we need to be a lot more aware of our surroundings, the people that are around us, and things like that. Okay, we've already we talked last week about children that that kind of shy away from certain people or certain situations. Okay, and so we need to be aware of those things. Okay. All right. Now we're going to finish up the last few minutes, last 15 minutes of looking at why children don't tell, if you suspect child abuse, and the steps that you should take. Okay. As maybe a parent, grandparent, and so forth. All right. And, all right, got somebody wanting to get on Zoom. Let's see here. Let me put my headphones on. That way I can hear them. Okay, well, if you're joining us by Zoom, welcome. This is the VSC Ministry, and this is the last night of talking about childhood sexual abuse. Wow, we got admit all. I'm trying to get everybody admitted. Okay, if you're joining on Zoom, all right. Hello. If you don't have a comment about what we're talking about, if you would please mute your microphones. Please mute your microphones. All right. All right. I don't know who's doing this. All right, you. I am really sorry about that. Um, you know what? That just really, really. If I can get a hold of these people, I will let them know exactly what I feel about that. I am really sorry if you're joining me on other channels. This is one reason why I don't like Zoom. It's because it is hard to control things. And I will not offer Zoom any longer. It will not be offered anymore through here unless somebody wants to do private Zoom. And that's it. I apologize. I am really sorry. All right, let me get back to this because man, my blood is boiling. My blood is boiling. Why don't children tell? Okay, we will get into this in just a minute. I'm really trying to compose myself, but when people do this, okay. Um, all right. First off, I'm trying to get composed back, but it is really taking everything I've got to be able to do it. Why don't children tell? Okay, one thing we have to understand is this: is only about 10% of all victims ever tell. Okay, and if they do, most of them do not tell until later in life. Okay, so why don't they tell? First off, is they feel guilty. Okay, understand? You out there? You understand what I'm talking about? Yeah, we've all been there. And this is false guilt that they are dealing with, but they assume that the sexual encounter was actually their fault. They feel love and loyalty for the abuser. Okay? Because a lot of times it is family members or people that are very close to the family in one way or the other. Okay? They fear that the one that they tell will respond with disbelief or denial. Okay? They also feel no t- no need to tell because the trauma caused dissociation. They fear the abuser's authority and power again because normally they are older and normally they are a family member. They feel threatened by the abuser. They feel obligated by the abuser. But here's one of the biggest things. They feel no one cares because no one asked. They feel that no one cares because no one asked. The heart of the discerning acquires knowledge, and the ears of the wise seek it out. Proverbs chapter 18, verse 15. So, we talked about why they don't tell. So, why should we tell? Why should you tell? to protect other children from being abused by the perpetrator. Okay? To break the power that the secret holds over them as victims. We should tell to enable skilled professionals to identify the lies that victims believe. We should tell to stop from having to live a lie in order to cover up the truth. Okay? And all of us, if you've been a victim, you've been living in, if you've kept it to yourself, you've been living a lie. Okay? And yeah, I understand it. I've done it for many years. Done it for 45, 50 years myself. So you're not alone out there, okay? But we need to, the only way to heal is by uncovering the truth and be truthful. And you may be thinking, but Kim, God, that's going to hurt. Yeah. It's going to hurt. It's going to hurt. But I promise you, with God's help, it can get better. I promise it can. We should tell to enable ourselves to be able to face the facts, process the pain, and work becoming a conqueror. Okay? God doesn't want you to be a victim all your life. God doesn't want you to just be a survivor. Nothing wrong with being a survivor. If you say you're at a survivor stage, praise God. Be thankful for that. But also be wanting to go to the next level. We need to tell to be able to free ourselves from the false guilt and the shame. I carried it for 45, 50 years. The false guilt, the shame. God doesn't want us doing that. We should tell so we can encourage others to tell when they are being abused. Okay, I've seen it firsthand. I've seen, by me sharing my story, how people were able to share their story. And you don't know. You share your story. You never know who you may encourage or help. We should tell to give ourselves a sense of personal power. Hey, you know what? I'm not powerless over this anymore. Thank you, Father. Thank you. We should tell to open the door so that we can receive support from others. Okay? We're here. You want to share? You want to share with us? We'll be glad to listen to you. Never shared your story? You want to share it for the first time? We'll be glad to listen to it. And we should share to break the power that the darkness by bringing truth into light. Okay? All right. Can you name 3 do's that you should do? I'm still shook up on a while ago. First one is we need to understand that child abuse is illegal, it's a crime, and it must be reported. Be aware that children usually abused by people that they know. Okay? Guess what? The people that you have over to your house to play cards could be the people that you invite over for supper, for Sunday dinner, could become a perpetrator or could be a perpetrator. The next thing that we need to understand is that children seldom lie about abuse. Okay? And that most often physical abuse is usually always violent. Okay? Now, children may deny or change their stories because of fear. Okay? Sexual abuse is progressive and it will get worse if not stopped. Okay? So these are some of the do's of awareness. Okay? So if there are do's of awareness, there are do nots of awareness also. Okay? Oh, so don't be in denial. Okay? If someone, child or adult, if anybody um, tells you, no matter how difficult it is to believe, whether it's your sister, your mother, your daughter, don't be in denial. Don't assume that if they say it only happened once, that it's not serious. Okay? It doesn't matter. I've told you before in here, we've had a young man that says his was a one time deal and he had the same feelings, he had the same thoughts, he had the same everything as anybody else. Okay? So it doesn't matter. Don't minimize the abuse. Okay? Don't minimize it. Don't let the offender go without confrontation. Now, does that mean you go or the person you're talking to go? Not necessarily. Okay? And we get into this in much more detail in our class on confrontation. Okay? Here's something that's very huge. Don't blame other family members. Okay? Maybe they're not, well, why didn't you see it? How come you couldn't see it? Okay? Just don't blame others. Blame the perpetrator. Okay? All the blame goes on perpetrators. That's it. Uh, don't keep the abuse a family secret. Okay? Guess what? There you may be out there, you may be thinking that you don't know of anybody that's been through it. Um, I guarantee you have multiple friends that's been affected by this. And you probably just don't know. Right? So what should you do if you suspect abuse is occurring? Contact, talk, communicate. Contact Child Protective Services, first off. Okay. Um, you need to get the child in, get them into some therapy services and so forth. Okay. Contact the family attorney. Contact a shelter for women and children, especially if it is physical, emotional, or even sexual. But you know that if you need to be able to help um, a woman and her children to be able to get someplace safe, get to safety. Okay? And we're going to go over just a little bit tonight. I didn't think we would, but that little episode got me a little bit shook up. Contact a spiritual leader or your pastor. Contact local police. Okay? And I'm gonna tell you a little bit, a little story here. Um, in the state of Texas, which is where I'm at, the law in Texas states that if you suspect or you get told about abuse, you have 48 hours to report. If you don't report within 48 hours, you can be held liable for not reporting. Okay? I know two pastors that from the state of Texas that was made aware of possible abuse going on inside of their youth department. So, what did they do? They started investigating themselves, and what they had every intention because they went to the police, okay, but they did not go within 48 hours. Both of them was found guilty and placed on 5 years probation for not reporting. Immediately, if you hear about it, if you're in the state of Texas and you're told, no matter if you don't have to be a counselor or nothing like that, you need to report it within 48 hours. Okay. Next, contact district attorney. Okay. The wise prevail through great power. Those who have knowledge muster their strength. Surely you need guidance to wage war, and victory is won through many advisors. Okay? Proverbs 25, verses 5 and 6. Get help. Okay? All right. What should you do if a child discloses abuse to you? Try your best to stay calm, but stay calm if you can. Okay? Take time to answer any questions from the child. Okay? Don't try to hide. Just be open and honest. Be available to that child at all times. Okay? Because they may need you when you may not realize it. Remain with the child, only leave with another adult that you know 100% that you can trust. Okay? Respect the privacy of the child. Okay? Not everybody needs to know the story. And make no promises that you cannot keep. Okay? If you can't keep the promise, don't make it. Explain that law enforcement must be informed. Encourage the disheartened and help the weak. Be patient with everyone. 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 14. What should you do if you see questionable marks? Take the child to the doctor. Tell the doctor why you think abuse is taking place. Ask for a copy of the medical report. Keep a paper trail of all contacts that you make. Follow up with caseworkers. Okay? All right. That concludes the end of our childhood sex abuse study. Okay? Before we close, again, let me say I'm really sorry about what happened tonight on Zoom. I'm really sorry that it happened. Okay. Next Tuesday night, I will start our study and discussion on verbal and emotional abuse. Go to our website, vscministry.com, down there on the bottom left-hand corner of your screen, and you can download the material for the verbal and emotional abuse study. Read ahead if you can, and then join us back here on Tuesday night at 7 o'clock for the start of verbal and emotional abuse. Okay? Next announcement is this. April the 1st. It will be a Thursday night at 7 o'clock. Instead of doing my normal tackling the tough stuff study on that Thursday night, April the 1st, I will be presenting a program on about the month of April. The month of April is Child Abuse Awareness Month, and I will be doing a special program dedicated to that on April the 1st at 7 o'clock. Okay, so be watching the Facebook pages and our website for that upcoming event. God bless.